Welcome back to Fix It Up. Today we're going to be working on this chainsaw. It's a Stihl. It's a 170 MS, and we're just going to service it completely and make sure that it runs good for the customer. So stay tuned and remember, like and subscribe. All right, so let's get started. So there's going to be a lot of fast forwarding in this section because it's a lot of cleaning and taking apart, but when I am taking something apart, taking the carburetor off, I'll get up close and show you how it works. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this here cover off. Right here in the back is a spot where you can put a screwdriver. Just place it in here like so and turn it, and that should release
the entire thing. There we go. Set that over there.
It's got a pretty clean air filter on it, a really clean air filter. I mean, I work on a lot of this guy's stuff, but I don't recall working on this machine recently anyway. So anyway, everything that we take apart, we're going to try to set in a clean spot here. I typically lay down a towel, put clean parts on it. Let's see here. So this one, right in here are going to be two little bolts. So that's what the little bolt looks like. I always keep a tin can, put all the bolts in it. Once you get that off, this whole piece kind of pops off of there. Just keep track of your bolts. That's the whole piece there. It can be cleaned up. Set it over here in our parts section. Alright, so now we've got the carburetor here. It's pretty simple to take off. First we're going to take this little piece off here, which all it is a guard between the spark plug and the rest of it to keep dirt and stuff out. Again, it looks pretty clean, so
maybe. Alright, got that off of there. Thinking that this should come off of there pretty easy. Yep. Or maybe I need to do the other side first. Let's see here. I do think I may need to.
Oh, there we go. So this is the throttle cable. This little piece goes into the side of the carburetor. Just right in here. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little hook right there. This just hooks into it from underneath. Real simple. Now the other side where this cable is hooked onto, typically you have to pop that up out of there. Just like that, and then slide it to the left so that it's loose, and then that slides off there like so, and you can disconnect the throttle piece and keep an eye on that, of course. Put that in your can and just put that aside. Then you should be able to just gently pull the carburetor off of there. There's one fuel line, which is kind of nice. You don't have to worry about returns. It's right here. Just simply push it off of there. Whew! That was a little pressurized. I was not expecting that. I should have drained the fuel first. That was my bad. I did not think about that. I've got myself a can here. Sure it's getting clean, so we'll reuse the fuel if it's good fuel. Okay, and again, it's got a screwdriver spot right here.
I'll just back that off of there
and see what kind of fuel we got in it. Wow, there's like no fuel in it. That's weird that was so pressurized with that little bit of fuel in there. So what I'm looking at in there is see if the fuel filter looks good, and it's very clean. It's all good. Won't need to be changing that. All right, back to working on this here. This plastic piece can come off. It just slides out. Again, another piece you can clean up. So now we've got this generally taken apart on this side. We're going to take the bar off, which is just 2 bolts. I typically use, if I can find my tools, I just use a spark plug wrench socket, which is, in this case, it's a 3/4, which is capable of doing it. And so I take this off just again for cleaning purposes, and I'm going to end up sharpening this blade. Okay, you see how dirty that is? It's not terrible. This hasn't been used a ton, but when the customer says they want it serviced, I go through all these steps anyway, take it all apart, sharpen the chain, clean the bar, clean out every spot I can on it. The next thing I'm going to take off, which I don't take this off, but I do like to take the muffler off and clean underneath and around here. Underneath these two here can come off, and there's a little screen underneath there. So let's take this off and take a look here.
Where did? There's this, right?
Again, it's a 15/16. These can be a little hard to break loose the first time, but once you get them going, they're pretty good. Okay, so once you get the muffler off, it just pulls straight out. That screen I was telling you about is right here. In this case, it's pretty clean, but I'm still going to end up cleaning it and the muffler system itself. Around here, try to get all this excess stuff out of there. Set that aside. Then you can see up in here, you got all this dirt and stuff. All the dirt here, back in there. So before I take this out, I use an air hose and degreaser. I spray degreaser down around everything, and then use a high pressure air hose to blow off all this stuff. But before I take it out, I'm going to plug this hole with some paper, typically just a shop rag, blue shop towels. Don't be afraid to really get it shoved in there. And then on the other side, where the muffler goes, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. So on this model, these studs can come right off and be put out of the way so you don't lose them. Okay, there's that. Now I've basically got it tore down to its basic functions here. And I'm going to take pieces outside, and I'm going to spray them down with degreaser. I use a very lightweight, water consistent degreaser that won't harm any of the electrical wires or any of the electrical components, but is really good at getting the dirt off of it. So I've got that done. When I go outside, and I'll spray it all off, I'll bring it back in, and we'll put it back together. Okay, so the next step here, we're going to use this machine, this sharpener, and we're going to sharpen the teeth on this side of the blade first, and then I'm going to turn it and we'll sharpen the teeth on that side of the chain next. It's kind of an easy, quick way of doing it. I have a marker, so I mark the chain so I know where I stopped at, or where I started at. First I got to check it and get it to the right spot. So it just takes off just the edge of the chain, or the teeth there. So what I don't want is to take off too much. So now we're we got the chain sharpened. It's time to put this back on. This is the bar. Got the chain right here.
So
you're putting the chain back on. I like to try to get the lettering facing up. And then also as you come across the top right here, the cutting edge should be going this direction. So the sharp edge should be here, a dull edge back here, because when it spins, it's going to spin across and go towards the machine. So just kind of have that spot. Go ahead and get your chain and bar put back on here. So all I'm doing is making sure the teeth go down the bar and then it goes around the gear here correctly. Grab our cover and it goes on. Grab our bolts, and since I didn't wash these, I'm just going to wipe them off a little bit just so they look better. So you just want a little tension in the chain, not a lot. But you don't want it to be super tight either. It needs some flexibility.
all right.
And I always check just to see that it moves easy. It should move pretty easy. If it's not, something's not lined up right. Because you can tighten these bolts down pretty good and still move the chain. That's what you want. Okay. Now I have not looked at the spark plug yet, so we're going to do that now. See what the spark plug looks like. So this one calls for an RCJ7Y. So I'm going to go see what I can find and I'll be right back. Okay, we got everything washed off and cleaned up. Now we're going to just kind of reverse what we just did. Start with putting the muffler back in. Start with the muffler, we need the stud bolts here. They basically just slide in right around there and into spot. Now you'll see the muffler is as clean as I could get it. We got the screen that has to go back on there, just like that. And then the cover, which this goes over the screen, just like this. Now the exhaust is going to be facing up. Just simply line the holes of the muffler up with the studs. Slide it back onto place. Make sure everything stays in place. That filter can be a real pain to get to stay where it's supposed to stay, so you kind of got to be careful. Make sure it actually connects with where it's supposed to connect to. Got two little bolts here to go back on there, or two little nuts, I mean. Again, these are 15/16. I believe that I've already lost the screen on that again. So I gotta take it off. It's really important that screen gets right back to where it belongs. And in this particular one, it doesn't want to stay.
Come on. Maybe. Knocked it off again.
Boy, this is turning out to be a little more challenging. So I guess we'll need to pull it up on end.
And put it on that way. That works much better. I don't know why I didn't think of that to begin with.
Alright, you can see it's on there. Screen is in the right spot now. Those are in there. We're going to flip back to the other side where the carburetor goes. Just real quick to show you, I just blew off the carburetor with air. We got all the carburetor pieces sitting here that are all in good clean condition now. We're just going to put it back together the way we took it off. So if you remember right, the last thing we did was we disconnected the gas and got sprayed. So let's start by putting the gas back on there. So we got this little hook here. So I'm just going to put it back in place before I get too crazy. So I couldn't get that to stay on there, the fuel line. So I'll just put it on now. See, just slides on, pretty simple. This hooks through so that you have an angle towards this other piece here. Sometimes it's easier said than done. I am forgetting something. Hold on. Getting ahead of myself. I thought something didn't look right here. First, I forgot to put this back in place, which goes right in there. And then I can put this back on there. And the gas can slide back on. And then your throttle cable, or choke cable I should say, goes here. It's got to go inside this bar. Right in there somewhere. Just like that. There we go. And this has to go. Before I do that, I'm going to try to hook the throttle line back up. There we go. Oh, the throttle line goes above it. Nice. So that means I gotta undo this here. Hold on. Okay. So the throttle line goes underneath, or above it, I mean, sorry. Ah, and that came unhooked. We're just really not doing well here, so. Okay. So when you put this back in, you gotta make sure that this metal piece is above so that you can shut it off, because this is the ground. When it touches that, which is all the way up, it shuts off the machine. Now that this is here, push down on the throttle on the side of the carburetor until you can get it kind of hooked in there. See, it hooks right there. Hopefully you can see that. All right, we've got that so far. This goes back on here somehow or another. This looks about right. Okay, now we've got this. It's going to go like this. Okay, now getting these nuts back in there on there correctly was kind of a pain when I did it last time with the last machine, but what I'm going to try to do is just sit it in the socket and then get that onto the end of the screw a little bit here.
Get it started, hopefully, correctly. That's not feeling like it's going on there, right? There we go. One down, one to go.
The one inside this hole, this is a little harder to do. Might have to try doing it without the extension on there. Once you get it started, it won't be too bad. There, I think I did get it started.
Let's check. Oh yeah, they're both on there. Okay. Just tighten them up nice and smooth.
Alright, so I found the spark plug. Just going to put it in. Got our filter. Put it back on here. Put the cover back on. Okay, so we've got this in our vise, so it's nice and tight. This machine, this chainsaw, does not have a primer bulb. So, and usually they have a direction, how many times to pull, all that. This doesn't have that. So you put it on full choke, pull it a few times, put it on half choke, pull it, and then hopefully it runs. So I got fresh gas and oil in the bar and chain oil in there. We're just going to see what happens. Let's see. All right, there you have it. We've got this MS170 up and running and cleaned up for the customer. So all left is to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.